Welcome again to 2018. Hope those who are back at work are having a great start. I certainly am. Been back this week, loving it. Now, look, the topic for today is how will 2018 be any different than last year, the year before? Now, if you're a solo business operator, it's just you and you wear all the hats. You're the trainer. You're the marketing department, you're the salesperson, you're the admin person. There's a lot of hats to wear, and it's also, if it's just you and your support network and you don't really have that business coach, mentor, you're not in a community of other like-minded experts, then you've got to be even more diligent about making sure that you're setting yourself up for a successful year. Now, in terms of success, what is that for you? Well, it's different for everybody. Now, one thing that I would recommend is that have you actually taken the time to stop and review your 2017? One of the things that I personally like to do is that the goals that I'd set for last year is to review them and go, which goals did I achieve, which goals didn't I achieve, and then ask myself some really honest questions. Is why didn't they transpire? Why didn't they happen? Was there not enough real desire, drive, emotion to it? Did I allow other things get in the way that stopped it? And really how serious was I about achieving those goals in the first place? So I think it's always important. Hey Vic, I think it's always important to firstly review what has just been. And so reviewing the year before, and you really get some great insights into yourself, into some of your habits, your traits, and maybe beliefs as well. Because if you set some goals last year and that you didn't achieve them, hey, that's cool. Just get the learning from it. Why was that the case? Did I go close to it? Did I didn't start? Did I write the goal and that was at the end of it? I didn't put any weekly processes in place. What was it? So first, just take the time to stop and review if you haven't already. The next part is to set yourself up successfully for 2018. Is put yourself in a position to win. So my hope is that if you are running your business, that you've actually set some financial target firstly. So you obviously got a lifestyle that you want to provide yourself with, maybe your family, if you've got a family. What does the business actually need to reward you with financially, knowing well and truly that we're going to deliver a service and a product that goes way beyond that as well. So it's that win-win. But you need to look at what do I want to achieve. Now, am I happy just to drift through 2018 and just cross the fingers and hope for the best? Is that my plan for the 2018? If I'm just running the hope plan, hope it all goes well like it did last year again? Or do you actually want to drive this ship? Do you actually want to steer it in the direction that you want it to? Because it's not so much about achieving the goal that's important. It's who you become in the process that'll be with you forever. So you set the goals and targets in order for you to step up, in order for you to grow and develop and be different. Now, if you don't, you just will be the same version of yourself 2 years down the track, 3 years down the track, 4 years down the track, 5 years down the track. Now, if you're okay with that, then you don't need to watch any more of this video. Because I'm only speaking to the people who actually are interested in growing, developing professionally and personally. So when they leave the planet, they can look back and go, wow, every year I grew and developed. There's people that have been driving for 30 years, but they're terrible drivers. They've been terrible drivers for 30 years. They go, I've been doing it for a long time, but you've been doing it badly for a long time. So my point here is going, if you're on this planet, you get one opportunity to transcend and grow and develop every year, to see what you're really capable of, what is your full potential. And so we need to set the goals and targets to make sure that we're going to move ourselves forward. Now, again, if you're a solo business operator, there's only just you involved in the business, it can be challenging because it's easy to hide. It's easy to get off track. It's easy to bullshit yourself. It's easy to think you're doing a good job because there's nothing in place to really pull you up when you're not. When you're sitting at home and there's something that you really need to be doing, but you're watching a movie or you're goofing off or you think, oh, I might have a quick sleep, I'm tired. That's you. It's only you that is watching yourself do that. Now, I always say put yourself in a position to win. So first thing, review last year, see what you can learn from it. How are you going to be different in 2018? Set some goals and targets around a balanced area of your life. When I say balanced area, set goals and targets throughout all your life, not just business, not just financial, but maybe if you're a father, you've got a goal for that, you're a partner, you know, in your relationship, your own health and fitness. Make sure it's really well and truly balanced. So set those goals and targets and set them enough so you know you're going to have to strive, you know, to develop some new habits or traits. And that's the part that once you set your goals and targets, have an honest look at them and say, what is my honest emotional response to achieving this? Have I got some doubt? Have I got some fear? Is there excitement? And you know, you really want to like get an honest insight right now to achieving that goal, because maybe you set them way too big, you know, and that's what you've done in the past. The pattern is that I don't do anything. New Year's comes around, I set this great goal, it gets me all pumped up, I get a brief moment of excitement, and then what I've noticed is that the very next day, next week, next month, I just fall back into old habits and I don't do anything to really action it on a day-to-day basis. So that would be the next thing that I would look at. Exploring. Then once you've set those goals and targets in place, and I believe I posted yesterday my guidelines for how to set goal setting, so I won't go into that in this video. Make sure you read that though. It has some really great information on how to set goals effectively and correctly, in my opinion and my experience. So the next thing then is to be able to action that. So what am I going to do? What habits and new traits do I need to develop in myself? So what I mean by that is if every year you were to instill in yourself 2 new empowering habits that were going to help towards achieving the goals, that would be my recommendation. Then in 5 years' time, you're going to have 10 new empowering habits. Now, a lot of people go, I've got a bad habit of this, I procrastinate, I put things off too long. Well, they're habits that you've had from a child that you've just been running with all this time. And so work maybe all right as a kid, but it doesn't work so hot as an adult. And so maybe you go, look, what I notice in myself, one of my behaviours that I really like to change is that I wait way too long, I leave things to the last minute, I put it off, it causes me stress, anxiety, and then I finally do something and then it's too late. So maybe you go, one of the habits I'm going to work consistently on to help achieve these goals is becoming a person of action. So I'm going to take action straight away. I'm going to become more proactive. And that's one thing I'm going to work on. Then you look at, how do I do that daily? What are the little things that I can do, little tasks, activities that are going to help instill that? And so it's no good just going, I'm going to become more of an action taker and then again just walk off. It's like, well, how are you going to actually physically train that into yourself? When you've got a gym program, you want to put on strength, you want to get stronger, you have a program you follow. There's a daily and weekly structure that you have to achieve the goals. So same in this area of your life. It's like, all right, well, how am I going to do that? Now, I remember working with a client many years ago that was very passive. They were like, their big problem was not speaking up, not asking for what they wanted. And a classic example was we put her on this thing called the asking program, because she'd be at a restaurant as an example, and they maybe have stuck her in a table that didn't have a good view, and she really wanted this table over here, and she wouldn't even ask. She wouldn't ask for it because of the fear of speaking up, and being no was just too great, something she learned from a kid. So we had her just doing little things like, okay, when you go out, if you feel like that's in that case, you need to speak up and say, look, I'd like that table over there. That's the one I want to sit at. Regardless if she got the yes or no, whatever, it was more important that she learned to ask. So that's one way where on a daily process, how do you get this habit ingrained into yourself? And in my opinion, a person that works from the inside out is going to be more successful. So the person who goes, if I get these habits and traits, and realistically you're only going to be able to work on 2 every year, that's it. If I can really develop these 2 areas of myself, spend time, energy, effort, learning that particular method, modeling off others, putting some time and energy, that I know the results for achieving these goals are going to come easier. Otherwise, what you'll see is you'll keep setting the same goals and targets year in, year out, never go closer to achieving them. And you go, well, what's the missing component? We'll go, well, the missing component is that, I just don't take enough action. I put things off. I'm too afraid to ask what I want. That's the issue to achieving the goal, not the goal itself. Not you're not capable of doing it. Maybe what it is that you haven't got ingrained that habit that's going to help you achieve it. Now, I've very rarely seen anyone achieve the ultimate goals they want if they don't have the ability to speak up and ask what they want, or they don't have the ability to be assertive. It just doesn't happen. You know, the person who sits back and watches the world go by, you know, hoping it falls in their lap, they're not going to achieve their goals. So we do have to stop and go, what are the habits, behaviours that we need to instill in ourselves to make sure that we're going to achieve our goals? All right, well, that's my little tip for today. I would really stop and, you know, take the time, if you haven't already, to do those few little simple things. Your future self will be thanking you for it. But again, you'd only take on this advice, you'd only go on and do all those things if you know, achieving greatness in 2018 and moving yourself forward was important. If it's not, and you're happy to drift by, that's okay as well. Well, then you wouldn't do any of that stuff, and you wouldn't spend the time and energy in it. All right, have a great rest of the week, and look forward to more live videos real soon.